All right, so we got the back bumper off. CJ ate a mouthful of burnt rubber. But yeah, so when it got hit last time, this is all crunched in from the accident. Like I said before, they were just trying to get back out to win some points. They weren't trying to repair this thing. They were just trying to get the car back on the road. And what we're trying to do now is decently get it back repaired. So we're going to get in here and work on straightening all this stuff out. We're going to get some probably through bolt this, where we'll drill some holes through here, hook the frame through this, pull this out, dolly all this back out nice and straight. And instead of having a nut and bolt through here, I don't know how these Fox bodies are done from the factory. I'm sure it's something very similar, if not this exact thing, but there's just a nut and bolt through it right now. And that was a complete nightmare, trying to get your hand up in there and hold the wrench. And even with me and CJ doing it, it's just a pain in the butt and it's not called for. So what we're going to do when we dolly all this back out straight and get this decent, we'll actually probably put nutserts in these holes, get them all dolly out nutserts. So all you got to do is run bolts from underneath the car. That way you don't have to have no wrench on the inside of the car. It makes it nice and easy to come off. But we definitely got to get this crumpled up area back straight. So it's probably going to be, we'll probably be grinding body filler, anything from about the body molding down, grinding all this off. We got to get the wheels off, but we'll grind all this down and then start hammering, literally hammering all this stuff out and pulling these bottom of these quarters back out to get this sucked back out. Wish I had another car to look at to see if, I guess that's factory on these Fox bodies, this body line right here. Like I said, I have no interest in Fox bodies, never have owned one, never worked on one. That looks like a factory body line right there because it matches left to right, and cars are for the most part symmetrical, okay? But normally you're not gonna have a rubber garment that's pinched in like that. So my guess is that that is a factory body line, but that all of this right here should be 100% flat. That's gonna be my guess. That's what I'm gonna try to dolly it to and see what happens. And this side, you can tell that that's pretty much the case. The body line actually goes all the way up to here. It looks like this is a body line, it appears to be, and then it looks like this is the crumpled zone from the accident. So I bet this is all supposed to be straight right in here and dollied out. So once we get the chains on it and some pressures, you'll see we'll start hammering and banging on it, start straightening stuff out. All right, so what we're trying to do is we're going to work this. We just worked that out up here. We dollied all this crash out, or buckle out of the tail light. You got your tail light panel. Now what we're going to do is work all this down here, try to get this out. So if you watch right here, as this pulls, it's going to pull all this out, and then we're going to start trying to work some of that out with a dolly. Okay, and you just want to pull it a little bit. You don't want to you don't want to get carried away, because you can literally just tear the side of the car off. Now we got this buckle right here. We want to try to get this out. Let me go get a hammer and it's got a little bit more kick behind it. So this is not your body hammer. As anybody knows, this is a ball peen hammer, so it's not exactly what you normally use in body work. But dude, I gotta have something with just a little bit more kick behind it than that body hammer right now. I ain't got time for this tonight. And another thing is it's way down here in this pocket. It's an absolute pain. Starting to get that out more. Let's switch back to our other hammer and let's put a dolly in there. Let me see if I got a glove. Well, you just get tired banging your hands up, y'all. Tighten this up a little bit more. But again, you gotta be careful because you're literally, this skin is spot welded to this. So you're not really pulling with this panel. All the strength is in the spot welds. So you just can't, you hear that pop? So you can't pull a lot because if we tear that off, then we'll be re-welding it back on. Won't be the end of the world if that comes off, but we're trying to avoid that. Pretty sure now that I'm seeing it, pretty sure this is a body line right here. That this right here was the body line. So the body line looks like it went like this and like this. So that makes sense that this needs to be flat, but this does not go flat to there. The bumper goes right there, but all of this should probably be flat. Like I said, I'm not a Fox body guy. Normally you can just read the panel. Trying to hammer all that out. Alright, so not bad. Got a lot of that out. Like a ton of that is out. Let's see if we can get some of this where this body molding is knocked out. I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me move the camera. Get you right here on what we're trying to work. So, still want you to get kind of a side view. Okay. So, this right here is humped out, and that's in. Good way to get to the inside to get that out, so that might have to be a filler situation. But I've got a body line there and I've got that body line, so it's not like it's the end of the world. I do want to try to get some of this out. so we can put the hook on that. Let's see here. I got this buckle up here. It's gonna be hard to get to. All right, so that's not terrible at all. Not bad. Got a lot of that quarter back out. You can see from the bottom, that's what you're really looking at, is about this line right here. Overall, this is pretty decent. You can see this quarter still has a bulge right there. So I'm gonna pick that in to get that back flat, and there's the bulge right there. So once that is knocked back in, then this should be pretty decently straight, and then we'll have to slick it out with mud. We'll weld up our pull holes that we drilled to make a pull with. Is normally always on my way is old school. It's not necessarily the correct way. Like I said, there's a lot of new technology out there for glue pulls and stuff like that. But I drill a hole, stick a bolt and chain through it, and then I weld it up when I'm done. And if you look at this side, again, I mean, I'm really happy with this side. I'm happier with this side than the other side, honestly. So this side looks really good. I'm gonna weld up them holes and then slick that out. I don't even have to pick none of that in really with a pick hammer. When I say a pick hammer, I mean this guy. So it's got a pick on the end of it. So whenever you take it and you hit it, you make actually knocks a dent in and almost sucks the metal in a little. So it really pinpoints where you want to work that out. So my hump is actually right here. So I'm gonna work a lot of this buckle out with this pick hammer to get this panel back more straight with this. And then, like I said, weld these up, skim it out. Had to repair this from the first time it was wrecked. That was split. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some weld in that. And then I'll be starting to sling filler on these. So all of these wheel wells, all we're doing is Bill is going around and Bill's actually cleaning all of these up because they've just been beat up over the years. They had a little extra filler sitting in them just from the first time, nothing major. But he's grinded all this out beautifully and got all that good. And then we will go back and we'll be getting our body line back next. If you look on this side over here, he's already grinded some of the face. So you can see he's got all this grinded out. Mr. Bill come in here and grinded all this stuff, got this all cleaned up. You can see that's where edge, that's all filler. And then started grinding some of the face off flat, because like I went over in my other videos, you get your face flat first and then draw your pencil lines how I do it, and then kill your panel into it with that. Now I grinded all that body filler off, and we actually have some quarter panels back, so there's not skim coats all over them. So we're gonna get all this welded up. Like I said, we'll weld up these holes real fast. All this lines up. Whenever it's tight, it lines up pretty good, and then we will just put one or two skim coats over this quarter to get it nice and straight. Same thing with this side. As you see in time lapse, we got all that grinded off. All the old filler off. That way, if there was any cracking or anything underneath it from pulling it on the frame, we don't have to worry about that. So we get all that welded up and then slicked out. So all we're going to do is take an old fender that we have thrown out back. We're just going to make a patch panel for the corner. So anything you got laying around, this already has a 90 bent into it, so it saves me from having to bend a 90. And this is actually off of a car, so the thickness of the sheet metal should be extremely close to the same stuff that's already there. It's going to come here, and all we're going to do is this piece right here, we're just going to shape this piece and bend it so that it fits in there. Alright, so this is where I'm at on Friday night going into midnight. You've seen all that earlier. I just want to show y'all a closer up of how I got all that dollied out. Got all that straightened out. We had a lot going on earlier, so there was a lot of banging and just couldn't efficiently grab a bunch of film. So this is messy. This just got to be cleaned up, but all the dolly work is basically, looking good. Everything's back out. I know it's really hard to see because of all the different colors and everything. When this gets back painted, it'll look a lot better. The rocker skimmed out, got a low spot here. Got to hit one more skim on that. Bill, before he left earlier, started the wheel wells, getting them smooth, or getting them laid out, and I am now jumping on where he left off and taking a little bit more off to how I want it, and starting to get my curve back, and then I'm going to go get my body line back, and then blend all this together. So my body line up here, I think it's going to be okay. So all I got to do is get these back in here, finish out my rockers down here, this little bit area right here, same thing on the other side. Alright, so we've got that skimmed out, knocked over, and I've took my pencil and drawn my line. All I want to do now is put this body line back so that when it rolls off of here, it kind of has a nice sharp body line that goes around the wheel wells back, because when it got hit a couple times, you know that that edge has been all damaged. So now all I want to do is taper all this in to get that body line back. Okay, so you see right here we're still low. We're low right here, and then it actually tapes off. We don't have enough of lip. We don't have enough edge right here. So we need to swipe this out right here, get us our little lip right here, and then you can see all of this side looks nice and sharp. So I didn't touch the pencil line. I can feel that body line all the way around. It's a nice crisp body line. All we've got is where it goes funky over here. Remember, most of the impact on this car is always going to be on the back sides. The fronts are not bad. So we're going to go ahead and sand out the other side where I did that one, and then skim any little tiny things out after that, and hopefully then we will have an equal line all the way around it. Okay, so when we originally took the bumper off, it was a pain because it was through bolted, so it was a pain to get inside there and have somebody hold a wrench while somebody else was under the car tightening the bolts. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some nutserts in the factory holes that are here. We're going to go through and nutsert these holes. That way, when you're putting the bumper on, all you got to do is get underneath the car and put the bolts in there, and it's not going to be that big of a deal next time, hopefully. So picked up this the tool from Harbor Freight. This is the Pro one. It was like $50, so this thing works pretty amazing. And if you got a race car, it's definitely well worth it. You just take your hole, and if you don't already have a hole, you'd have to drill it, find the size that fits it. And then this is a thread. This is a M6 for this, so it's like your standard automotive 10 millimeter, it seems like. And you just put that in there like that, and screw that out. That's what actually holds it in, and now you have a threaded insert in the car. Because everybody knows how annoying it is to have to hold a wrench on the backside. Never again. So I'm just trying to go through these real fast. And then I'm going to try to test fit the bumper and see if they thread in easily. And that one actually looks like it's a little crooked, so what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take this and just bend the metal like that, so that way it's straight. You don't want it trying to go in crooked and having to fight with a crooked bolt up inside the bumper. So let's check this one too. I think this one was a little bit. And this is just real thin metal, so it's easy to bend. So yeah, my tool's a little bit more over this way, so we're just going to bend it like that. It probably won't have hurt to bend it down some a little, but that'll be fine. So got them, got the one on this side. So now we're just going to take our bumper, sit it up there, and I'm just going to test this to see if this, see how good this works. There's what it looks like when it's inserted in there. So it has the threads up in there. And of course, you want to try to keep body filler out of this. If you're going to still be slinging body filler, you might need to wait. But I'm not really worried about putting body filler up inside all of this because it don't get seen. So now your bolt will just thread right in. See? And nobody has to be on the inside holding a freaking wrench. There you go, bumper's put back on using a new method. I like to test fit stuff like this just to make sure that it's going to go smooth and so I can see my body gaps, and I'll show y'all up close. So as you can see, the tab right there, the tab's actually pulled in. That's how it was before. So that's making the bumper sit out. If that tab was flush like this, like it was, then that bumper would actually sit up pretty good. You do have a molding that goes here. Okay, so your molding goes like that. So that's gonna look good. That's gonna look good all across the top. All them lines look good. And the in and out depth looks pretty decent. This, let me see, I don't think this was a factory molding. No, I'm not seeing Ford anywhere on it, so I don't think this is a factory molding. Could be wrong though, I don't know these things, but I don't think this is a factory molding. But I mean, it looks pretty good. I mean, it's not terrible. It goes back like that, yeah. So that don't look terrible. And like I said, if the tab was not bent out like that, then the bumper actually would suck up. So I'm thinking what we'll do is, before we assemble this bumper, we'll actually put a little tiny black rubber gasket or something on the inside of this, just to close up that gap, because I don't want to put filler in it, because it's not supposed to be there, because I have my metal edge back. Oh, excuse me, edge back, but same thing on that side. There you go. So you can see the tab's actually been pulled out farther than the bumper. And that's just how it was from before, when it was through bolted and the flange out here wasn't straight. It actually sucked it in some. And what I might actually try doing is, when I take the bumper back off, I might try a punch and punch the rib nuts in a little bit to close this gap up. But if the gap doesn't close up, then I will just take, let me get this molding. I'll just take a piece of rubber, black rubber gasket to put in there before it's put back on. So this one goes through like that. And again, not bad at all. So when that's bolted on, that's gonna look pretty decent. That top, like I said, that's kills me, but that's all in that tab on that bumper, you know? And there's nothing I can really, you can see clear as day that that tab has just been ripped outwards. So it's deformed the plastic from being like that for so long now, and we're gonna have to do something to get it sucked back up. But I'm very happy with how it goes on. It goes on fast, nice and smooth. It's not a pain in the butt. So these top ones are still through bolted that go through here, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go and also rib nut or nutsert, whatever you prefer to call it, all of them. So I probably need to weld this piece back up, because this is actually detached. But it is almost 2 a.m. or maybe we're right after 2 a.m. and I'm gonna sand out these one more time, draw my body line one more time, and I think I should be about there. And then I think I'm gonna call it a night, because I'm pretty happy with all this. This stuff don't look like a lot of work, like it's not a lot to show the camera, but it's a lot of work, man. It's a ton of freaking work. So like I said, I'm gonna sand all these out real fast, and then I think we're gonna call it a night. All right, there we go. So we're gonna call it a night. Got the wheel arches back. I busted my butt to get these body lines back. If y'all go to the first video, you see how bad these body lines were, how they weren't even there. Now I have nice, sharp, crisp body lines that I can feel right there. This has to get cleaned up by hand. This is not done. But I'm exhausted. I'm beat. I'm wiped out. I worked all day. And now I've worked all night pretty much. And I I'm gonna go home and crash. So hopefully I can get up with the wife in the morning and help her and hang out with the kiddos for a little bit. Feels like a little bit of a slight high spot right there. Might pick it out, hit it with a pick hammer and hit it with some dolphin glaze. But anyway, you can see this side is a lot better. It's still got to be worked by hand, but you see how that's got more of the curve in there. It's just this center right here has to be worked out by hand. But got the rockers done. They need to be blocked one time with a hard block. They have a little bit of wave in them. I mean, they're gonna get covered in rubber from doing burnouts, but yeah, we're gonna still go. I'm gonna just go ahead and hand block them out so at least they start out straight. And then I would like to hand block this area one more time, even though this should be pretty good. And then I'd like to sharpen this body line up on both sides. I'd like to flat block the top, and that way that body line's sharp. I want to make sure that body line's sharp. I want to do hand sandpaper and with your fingers in this edge right here, because I want to get this body line decent. This car does have a buckle in here that it's actually like metal right underneath here, so there's no filler like right up here, but the car has a little bit of a buckle there, and so not much we can do with that. But we're gonna get it the best we can without putting a bunch of time in it. It's not a show car. It's not a show car. Remember, it's a race car. And then block out this one right here tomorrow. This one feels pretty decent. I've got too much filler right here. I can feel that needs to come out, but it feels pretty decent. But get back at it tomorrow night, and see here by Saturday night, this thing should be in primer if all goes smooth. And if I get this thing in primer Saturday night, then that's increasing my odds of getting this thing painted on Sunday. The only thing that's going to hold me up and slow us down is we are painting all of the engine bay. And as you can see, we still need to take apart a lot of stuff up here, because we're actually going to pull the suspension apart in the booth and then spray the front. So we've got our work cut out for us Saturday night and Sunday morning if we're going to be blocking this thing, or Scotch Brighting and washing this thing Sunday morning and speed drying it and taping it to get this a rolling painted chassis for Sunday night. Would be freaking amazing. That's the goals. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this update. Sorry about all the time lapse. This is just not the most interesting work when you're sanding like this, but hopefully you get an idea of how much goes into this. It is 3 a.m. of course. I'm like literally, 2:52, so I'm about to hit 3 a.m. again. It's 2 weekends in a row after working all week, and normally I'm up till, on the weeknights I've been up till 12:30 editing down YouTube videos or doing other things on YouTube. So I'm exhausted. I'm out. Y'all like, comment, subscribe, share. Y'all are doing an amazing job. I greatly appreciate the support. I really, y'all don't know how much it means to me for y'all to be supporting this as much as y'all are. Hopefully you're liking the content, but just please keep sharing it to help me out, keep growing this thing. And I will catch y'all on the update, and I will try my best to get you another update of what Saturday night looks like. Again, this is Friday night. We're at 3 a.m. technically Saturday morning, and I'm going to bed. Peace, y'all.